Thanks, Brad, guys.
While washing and oiling your board will keep it clean and shiny, there are some issues that could arise for owners. Things like odors, stains, and even mold can occur if the board isn't properly cared for. So here's some great pro tips to keep your board fresh, clean, and ready for your next event. For light odor removal, the apple and potato trick. If you're dealing with a lighter odor and want a more natural approach, consider using an apple and a potato. Both have natural enzymes that help break down some odor-causing bacteria and residues. Slice an apple or potato in half and rub it across the surface of your board. Let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes to allow the enzymes to work. After that, rinse off the board with warm water and towel dry it immediately. This method is particularly handy when you don't need a full-on deep clean, but you want to freshen up your board just a bit. Using an apple or potato is not as effective as other strategies we recommend, but it does work great for light odors. For heavy-duty odors and stains, baking soda and lemon. If your board starts smelling really funky from heavy-duty odors or shows stubborn stains, here's a pro move. Grab some baking soda and a lemon. First, damp the board so the baking soda will stick to it. Sprinkle the baking soda generously all over the surface and let it sit for about 10 minutes. This will allow the baking soda to really work and start to pull up the odors and the moisture in the board. That's when the baking soda really does its magic. Then, cut a lemon in half and use it to scrub the surface, working the baking soda into those stains and odors. Once you've given it a good scrub, rinse it with some warm water. Dry it off immediately with a towel and let it air dry, standing it up to ensure it dries evenly. Preventing mold. Whether you're just rinsing off some crumbs, giving it a complete wash, or going all out with sanitizing, drying your board right away is crucial. Use a towel to wipe off any excess water immediately. After towel drying, stand the board upright and let it air dry. This ensures even drying and minimizes the risk of mold and warping. Now, another thing you can do is you can use a towel and lay the board on the towel, but you'll want to rotate it frequently so that one side is not always stained on the moist side. Then after a few moments, take it off the towel and stand it and let it air dry. Never, and I mean never, put your board away damp. Trust me, a little attention to drying goes a long way in keeping your board in top-notch condition. Not drying your board properly can not only lead to unsightly mold and unwanted smells, it can also cause your beautiful board to warp, leaving it misshapen. Even something as simple as leaving it sitting on a wet countertop or leaving pooled liquids from juicy meats or fruits on it for too long can cause your board to warp or bend. So if for any reason you run into warping and you don't want to involve a professional woodworker and his hydraulic press, here's a few easy ways you can try right at home to help you get the board back to as good as new. Tips for warping. The iron method. Lay a wet towel evenly over the warped section of the board. Use a standard household iron, set it to the highest setting, and gently move it over the towel in a circular motion. Make sure not to let it sit too long in one spot to avoid scorching the wood. The key is to apply even heat. Steam method. You can use a stovetop steamer or even just a pot of boiling water for this, but be careful. Suspend the warped board over the steam, making sure not to dip it into the water. Use a towel or cloth to direct the steam specifically to the warped area for more focused results. Keep it there for several minutes, then let it dry and check progress. Patience and monitoring are crucial here. Force and water method. We never recommend that you actually submerge your board under the water. The force and water method is the one time we actually do recommend you do it, because what happens is underneath is if it's wet, it's going to want to expand. And when the water causes the wood to expand, the top part doesn't expand because it's dry, and you get a cupping that happens. And so when you get extreme cases like that, what you want to do is a full reset And so that's the only reason why we ever recommend you fully put these underwater. First, you want to soak the board in a tub of water for a few hours. Then lay it on a flat, level surface and pile on a significant amount of weight. Books, bricks, or anything heavy that'll keep it flat. Make sure the weight is evenly distributed to encourage uniform flattening. And leave it like that until it's thoroughly dry, which can take really up to a day or more. Grass and sun method. Lay the board warped side down on the wet grass during a sunny day. The sun should beat down on the convex side of the warp. Check periodically and re-wet the grass as needed to maintain moisture. This can take a while, so patience is the name of the game. Keeping your board clean and dry won't only help it last longer, it will also keep it beautiful and ready at any time to be topped with delicious, perfectly chosen meats. So now that you know how to keep your board clean, fresh, and flat, let's take a look at some tips for cutting those incredible meat selections that go on top.